this meeting started. To give you all a heads up, the Salvation Army Camp has made a request to have an open hearing on the possible withdrawing the maintenance or closure, however y'all want to specify it, for Grandview Road. By doing that, then it's important that we have the open meetings to go along with that, where we can hear from all the community. Now, I'd appreciate if we just keep it to 2 minutes if y'all can, depending on how many is going to speak. So at this time, since y'all made the request to have this meeting, I'm going to turn it over to y'all.
You're okay? Or
That'd be fine.
My name is Matt Traylor. I am the camp director at the Salvation Army Camp Grandview. Camp Grandview, just so you understand what Camp Grandview is, the Salvation Army purchased the property back in 1948, and for 70 years, young people and adults have attended Camp Grandview throughout the summer, throughout the year. Here's some now. Where's your counselor? Where's your counselor? The purpose of Camp Grandview is to give disadvantaged youth from all over the state, from rural areas, urban areas, a chance to come out and experience the beauty of the area. We all live around that area and we love it. And so it's a chance to give young people who wouldn't get a chance to come out and experience it. We have young people who come from downtown Atlanta, from rural South Georgia and Bainbridge. Most of these young people come from dysfunctional homes. They're wards of the state. Not all of them, but some of them, and they come from very difficult home lives. Camp Grandview impacts the lives of these young people for 70 years. And we have seen, I wish everybody could see the impact Camp Grandview makes, because we've seen intergenerational poverty, we've seen drug abuse, sex abuse, the powers of all those things be broken in a generation of a family, because a kid has their life was impacted at Camp Grandview. During the summer, we can have 200 to 300 kids a week coming to camp. And as you know, as of over those 70 years, Camp Grandview has grown, where we encompass both sides of this section, 1,750 feet roughly, approximately. Please forgive my inexact math, but about 1,700 feet of Old Grandview Road, we encompass both sides. This section is the portion we are requesting to be closed. There's two main reasons, safety reasons, that we have, for years we have battled, and it's come to this point where we really feel like the only options we have now is closing this section. The first safety reason is speeders. We have people who fly up and down this road. This past summer, we had several near misses where we were unloading kids on this side. Here's our parking lot. I know you can't see it all the way over there. Our parking lot's here, and we take kids across the street on a people-moving trailer to their cabins, so that we don't have buses going through camp as kids are walking around, going to activities. We've had several near misses of speeders flying up the road. If you are familiar with this portion, it's a slight incline, and it crests right about here. Terrible blind spot. I had pictures to show. I was going to show you there's a blind spot where if you come out of our property, you can't see who's coming over. As people who are entrusted with the care of young people, vulnerable young people, we are now their advocates. It is our job to protect these kids. It's a struggle. Like this past summer, our caretaker, Dave Reynolds, as you know, lives on. Was one driving, getting these kids across the street, and we were having to yell at a driver who was flying up the road, going at least 50 to 60 miles an hour, weekly. It's not just drivers that we also have to deal with. There are four-wheelers, which are great. We drive along that road. Even we know how dangerous that can be. Our staff, my staff, know it can be dangerous pulling out and getting across the street from one side of camp to the other. We have people, you guys, who walk up and down this road. I can't imagine coming up over a curve and seeing somebody who's walking the road with their dog and not knowing, and you can't see them, and getting hit. I can't imagine a car hitting a group of campers who are on their trailer with their luggage going to their cabin and someone plowing right into them. That's one of our major concerns. The other concern is access. We can't control who comes onto our property, and it's easy. And we've had instances of parents who don't have custody of their children, or people coming onto our property because this road being open, being a public road, this section gives them free access to anywhere. It's very difficult for us to protect the kids, because we have kids that will go across down to our pond to fish, to boat. They'll come back over to swim at the pond. Going across this road daily, the day it may happen that when we're Kids are walking across the street that somebody could easily drive along, snatch a kid in. Access is the major issue. We don't know, we can't control. 2 summers ago, we had a person come onto our property, drive into our property, right here. They had a kid in their car before we stopped. Turned out it was a father who did not have legal authority to be with their son. He came up, tried to take them off property. We had to stop it. We also have had 2 summers ago a suspicious car that would, this happened to be at night, 10 p.m. The campers had already gone to their cabins, thankfully, flying through our camp, trying to get down to this end of Lakeshore. A white car, tinted windows. The night before, we had seen them parked down here. So when we saw them again, and they were flying through, and our gate back here is locked. They couldn't get out. They turned around, and as we tried to stop them, they flew back up and out. We called the sheriff's department in both cases, whether it was speeding, just to alert them and say, hey, we're seeing this happen. Ultimately, our goal is to just close this portion right here, this east portion of Old Grandview Road, and put electronic gates, something that's easy for Dave to open when needed. Our goal is not to put up any walls or anything that permanently keeps anybody, our neighbors, from getting in and out and having access. Anybody who lives on this portion of Old Grandview Road, it's not hard to just come up this way and get access. Lower Grandview Road still provides a secondary access to this area. And again, if there's storms, if there's anything that prevents people from using these, we're always open to opening the roads up as needed and allowing people to get through. We're your neighbors, we're your fellow residents, and we would never hamper you guys. So I just thank you for allowing us to just take a moment to express our concern and share with you all why we're requesting this portion of Old Grandview Road to be closed so that we can control access on both sides and hopefully control access to other areas where somebody may mean harm to anybody around us or any of our campers. So thank you.
Pardon? We have some seats. We have some seats over here if y'all want to go ahead and move across. Does anybody else want to speak for the Salvation Army? I think you pretty well covered what the intent was. All right. Anybody want to speak for the opposite side? Yes, ma'am.
My name is Nancy Van Sant, and I live on the back side of the lake, and we've been there since 1977. There are about 20 homes behind there, and most of those people live there, and so my concern is that we're limited in access out of the area that we live in, and it sometimes, and especially this year, we've had it where that there are trees down, power lines, things of that sort of down, and we are limited as to which way we go. And in 2 cases, we had to go out over this area. As far as them opening the gate, we've been here, like I said, since '77. And originally, the gate was open so that in bad weather or something like that, we could go through there. But I assume it's something to do with insurance or something. It had to be closed. And as a result of that, on occasions, when the weather was bad and we were trying to get through, we did call to see if somebody would open it, and we couldn't get in touch with people. So I have concern about something where you have gates up and people cannot get through. As far as the use of the road is used by people, and I think that's what you're trying to decide. Is it being used by the public? It is. It's being used for walking. It's used by drivers of delivery trucks to deliver things. And I know there was some concern about, I think somebody said something about delivery people going through in their GPS, telling them to go through that, and that was something that was concerning the Salvation Army, and I can see how that would be. But one way to deal with that, if they're having people going in, why not consider something about putting a barrier there? Some camps do that. As far as crossing the street, if you go by there are no painted crosswalks that are there. The signs can be moved further away so that people that are coming will realize that there are kids there. And you can also have it where there's speed bumps. That hasn't been tried. You can have it where things are set up so that people know what the speed is. And as far as somebody coming through speeding, it seems to me that would be something that our public sheriff's department could help us with in addressing that if it seems to be the same person. But I think that whether it's buses or whether it's trucks coming through or whether it's people walking on it, it is being used by the public. And the other thing, in your 2018 and 2028 comprehensive plan for Pickens County, you talk about having roads that connect communities, about having neighborhoods where they can walk in it. We have all that. It is on that road. It's being used. And I understand their concern about safety. But as far as the parents coming in, again, my understanding is that if you have private property, you have the right to call the police or someone to remove somebody from it, or you can have various things you can do. I don't know all the things with camps. I do know that usually at camps they would say safety. So my concern is if we have storms, we want as many ways out as we can. If the people at the end of Shark Top and the people at Windy Ridge, if that road's closed, they have one access out. If for some reason it's blocked, then they have no way out. And depending on somebody to open a gate, they're not gonna always know when to do that. And I think that it's a matter of safety for the people, not just as a Salvation Army, but the people that live around there.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
My name is Mark Dickerson. I've lived with Grandview, I guess, since 1980. I'd say three things. One, the Army has been a wonderful neighbor of Grandview Lake Corporation for many, many years. And I appreciate that, and I appreciate what the Army does. I think all of us do. Second, I'm sort of aghast that the concept that because you own two sides of the road, you can all of a sudden decide nobody else can go through there. If I want to go see my friend Bill Miller, are there other ways for me to go around to get there? Sure there are. I just have to drive about a mile further. Do people use the road we're talking about? All the time. Third thing I'd say is some of the safety problems, talking about kids going down to the pond, etc., are not 80 years old. Those are the result of acquisitions by the Salvation Army on the other side of the road, long after the road was there, long after all of us were using the road. Now, I don't object to them acquiring property on both sides of the road. Historically, only the manager's house was on the other side of the road. But then to say, because we've acquired this property and because we want to put our kids in a position where they have to cross this road, then the rest of you ought to just find other ways to do things. It just seems to me I guess it means I can buy Peggy Petty's property across the road from me on Grandview and then come in here and make a request. I'd be a heck of a lot better off if you'd close Grandview Road for 100 feet right before the dam. My kids could play in the road. I wouldn't have to worry about traffic that races up and down there despite the slow traffic signs. But that doesn't seem to be a reasonable thing for me to do or for you to do. And I just ask that you consider, we're not talking about a little used road or a non-used road. We're not talking about something that's been created by the neighbors. The Army's acquired property on both sides of the road. That's great. But there are other ways to get kids across the road other than closing the road. They could build a bridge. I don't know what they can do. I'd ask that you say no. Thank you.
All right. Young lady back there in the back.
My name is Myra Douglas, and I've lived in Grandview since 1987. And it's a public road. We all pay property taxes, and part of that goes to the upkeep of that road. I also have a problem. I live the first house on the left as you turn off Grandview onto Old Grandview. Everyone knows that hill and that curve are almost impassable if it ices or it snows. My husband was from West Virginia, and he wound up in that ditch several times trying to get to our house. So our only way in is to go through Windy Ridge. And, if they close it, who's going to guarantee us that there's going to be someone there to open that gate? We don't know. But I object to it being a public road, and we've used it all these years. I know where the Salvation Army camp is, and I try not to access that way unless I have to for some reason. And I also slow down. And I think maybe more signs, more caution, and more counselors. I've worked with children of all economic backgrounds. You cannot bring children from housing projects and let them have free rein to go fishing in a pond and then go back to where they sleep. They might do it, and I hope they do it, but you also need to supervise them. That's a big thing with children I see roaming. But anyway, I just object to it being closed because I've always used it as a public road, and I think most of us are careful about going through there with the Salvation Army camp. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Pretty much the same issues as everybody else has raised, and so thankful for the Salvation Army. Worked as a nurse there, so I understand what y'all are going through there. I just still can't understand why speed bumps or something else can't be put in. I'm one of the ones who walks her dog almost daily there, and I walk there because I can't walk on Grandview Road. This is my cut through to friends when I visit them, or to walk almost daily, and I really think it should be left open.
Anybody else? Yes, ma'am.
My name is Ruby. I work at Grandview. I've been there since 2007. Seen a lot of people come and go, officers, you know. But I love working at camp. I've been there, like I said, since 2007, and there's a lot of traffic comes through there. We have a lot of children removed. We have a lot of children removed from one side of the road to the other, and it's dangerous. These children, they are supervised. They always have a counselor and a co-counselor. We have a head counselor, male and female head counselor. They're always supervised. People come over the hill past our sign. There used to be a crosswalk there, and the county paved over it. We no longer have our crosswalk. They did away with it. They can cross there at the stairs. They go down to the road that comes up, that goes across down to our pond. People fly. They come through there around the curve, coming off Windy Ridge. They get up speed. They come the opposite direction, come off of Grandview. They get up speed. They're flying through there. And it is a constant daily struggle. And signs, people don't read signs. We have signs, your GPS is wrong. They don't read signs. They don't read speed limit signs. They don't read caution signs. They don't read the school bus stop ahead signs. Signs do no work. They don't work. We don't have police officers come through there and patrol. If we did that, if we had that, maybe it would be better, especially during summer. It doesn't happen. Our only cause, we need the road closed, or we need more patrol during summer camps, during weekend camps, during week camps. We need more attention, and we're not getting it. And so this is what we're trying to do, is get our road closed on both ends, and there's plenty of pass-throughs. They can go any different direction. There's plenty of other ways. We've timed it. You get 1 minute to 3 minutes extended on your travel. That's it. That's it. If we have a gate, Dave's always there. It can open either end. If there's a weather issue, there's a solution. And I think the closing of our portion of the road is it.
Thank you. Yes, young man, go ahead and put your hand up the floor.
What I would like to say is, what that sir said over there was, if I wanted to go see my friend, but the road was closed, I'd have to go another mile around. But it all comes down to this. My bad. All right. Would you rather have the safety of young children or the accessibility of being able to go to your friend's house when you could easily do it another way?
Thank you. Anyone else? Please.
Just like 1 minute, we'd just like to say we understand the concerns that we are hearing, and speeding is part of the issue. The bigger part of the issue for us is just access of people that shouldn't be on the property, and that's really where we're trying to zero in, is the security of the property, and most importantly, the security of the children that are on the property. I totally agree. There are other ways that we can get those kids across there. And we certainly, would look at that even with our own people driving on that road. But it's more so about the security and access of that property and people who shouldn't be on that property. And that's a big concern for us.
Can I ask a question to you?
Yes.
Would we be able to walk through still if you did these gates?
The gates wouldn't block the side, right there where you walk, it's
It's
really
got
limited
round.
vehicles that can just easily drive in. That's our, it's not about closing off and putting up a fence that goes across the whole road where, we know people walk, we still have to get easy. Our goal is not to block those type of things for people to be able to walk across. And when you were talking about the gate at the back, that's a whole separate, that's not the gate we're talking about. That gate's been in our back entrance for years. And we do put up blocks at the entrance of our camp. But we still have people that will move those and go right through, but we can't keep those up all the time because we have our work vehicles coming in and out. So limiting public road is where that portion only, not the whole road, just that portion. And again, Dave lives there. Dave is there all the time. It's not hard. If there's a storm, when he's cleaning up, he's out there. We'll have the road open. So, I mean, again, we understand. We're willing to work with any of you guys. Even if it's just a partial close during the summer, we even asked about that. Could we just close the gates just during the summer months when it's our busiest time? Would that be a solution? We were told early on that you probably can't do that. We're willing just to do that, just when it's our busiest time, just to be able to close that road off during the summer months, keep people from coming through, and open it up the rest of the year. We're open to that.
My name's Bob Parker, and to answer your question, I think it would be very easy for us when we designed the entrance, the gate at both ends of it, an opening for walking through. So the design can be made to accommodate walking the dogs through and those kinds of access. That's easy to do, and because our main concern is the vehicle traffic, not the foot traffic. So I think that's very doable and would be considered part of the design of doing that.
Can I ask one question? One of the things they talked about was security of parents that aren't supposed to be there and people taking the kids and in some way harm them. Isn't it that possibly they've gotten to a point where they need security guards or something like that in it, rather people that are trained to deal with these type of people? And even putting up gates is not gonna solve that problem, because if somebody is that determined, they're still gonna come in. I mean, I could understand as far as that they have concern for that, but I think they need to look at it in a different direction of security and professional people that they pay to watch the kids or to protect them. It's not gonna be solved by putting up gates.
Can I speak into that, please? I am a product of Camp Grandview. I grew up going to Camp Grandview. I worked there as a teenager, and now I'm the director there, one of them. And we have security guards in place. We have all kinds of training. We definitely have counselors. I know you've heard those things. I don't know if you've ever sent your child anywhere. I have 4 children myself, and when I entrust them to you, I fully expect that you're going to take care of them.
Well, the Girl Scout
To the
camp
best
actually had all this stuff.
And the Girl Scouts take care of them too.
Right.
They keep it safe. I don't know if you've ever stood between a parent and a child trying to keep that child out of a car because the parent is insisting that the kid's going in the car. We've done that. We have every measure in place. We abide by every law. We're ACA certified. We do all of those things that you're suggesting that we may not do. I can assure you we do them.
All right, and I appreciate that. Y'all can have that conversation outside. Let's stay on topic first.
Yes, the topic is though, people coming in, that road being open allows just lots of access. As he said, we're happy to open it when it's not in season. However, I just want the public to understand the severity of what could be. It's a matter of time. My own child was almost hit where that hill crests because people are flying over it. There are speed signs. We've talked about the speed tables. But those don't seem that people don't care. So I just want you to think about your own children and them going out there and that being an issue.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
My name is Marion Clayton. I live on Lower Grandview Road, and we all appreciate what the Salvation Army does. They do a wonderful job, and they've been great neighbors. But closing a public road is a very serious thing, and it just seems like that there could be like other ways. I think it needs to be discussed between the county, the neighbors, and the Salvation Army a little bit more to see if it can't be done another way rather than permanently closing a public road.
And one other hand back. Yes, sir.
Sir, William Reagan, I'm relatively new to the area, but I will say that in the 4 months that we've lived here, I've seen 4 roads blocked by trees. Now, I know we've talked about that, and I understand that the bigger concern here is the safety of the children, but I would say that my area of the lake where I live, I can count multiple other ways that people that would have, unsavory or forthright actions that would, want to get into camp could certainly do so whether the road is closed or not. And for that matter, if it still is accessible, by us to walk through, what would keep someone who had ill intentions from walking through there as well, if that's the greater issue. Secondly, I would say that, in the time that I've been living there, there's multiple times where 2 vehicles meet each other in the road. One vehicle has to yield either off on a curb or, the roads are not that wide to begin with. If we close one of 3 ways to get back into the end of the lake, we're going to increase the amount of those incursions on other roadways by at least a third by people not being able to use that road. Definitely be able to cause an accident, people not being able to see one another coming over those steep hills, especially right off of Grandview Road. Old Grandview and Lower Grandview both are very steep, hard to see. So I guess from my perspective is that, the things that we're talking about that haven't been tried, speed tables, for instance, maybe on either side of a posted or marked crosswalk, I think that the county and that what y'all heard from us tonight as the residents, that should be something that should be pursued before just throwing your hands up in the air and saying, we'll just close the road. But thank you for your time.
No, no problem. Any other comments? We've got 2 minutes. Pros and cons, we thank you very much for your input. It's good to have the public out to express their opinion, either or on this particular road. I assure you, myself and these other 2 commissioners will take this under advisement. We will talk to the county attorney. Depending on what the outcome is, maybe we need to sit down and meet again with the Salvation Army to see if there's some other solutions we can come to, depending on how the vote turns out. I can't speak to that. We got another. Got anything else to say?
Is this gonna come up in your next meeting?
It's not
scheduled?
not scheduled.
So it'll be at some later date?
Yes. And it'll be posted to that point. We're not springing on somebody as a thing. But go ahead. We've got a work session coming up. Lisa, it'll be May 2nd. A work session at 10 o'clock in the morning on May 2nd. It might come up for the discussion between us. That's when we can meet legally together and talk to the employees there and come up with the plans to go further. And hopefully we can possibly meet with them, and maybe they've got some other suggestions that we could do without closing the road. And
Is it open to the public?
Pardon?
Is it open to the public?
Yes, sure is.
And it meets here?
Yes, same room. Bring biscuits if you like.
What do you want on them?
But anyway, I want to thank y'all for coming. Y'all are welcome to stay for the 5:30 commissioners meeting here. We got at 5:30 and what we got on the agenda. But stay if you like. It's really enjoyable to have this meeting here and have an open discussion. And we're just sitting back here listening. So thank y'all very much. And by the way, for y'all that have to leave, y'all have a happy Easter and be safe. Thank y'all very much. All right. Amendments to on the amendments to the agenda, we got to add C under action items, the EXP contract. Anything else, Ms. Lisa, we need to change on that? All right. That being said, I need a number 5, approval of the agenda. I need to move a second to approve the agenda.
Second.
Moving a second. All that favor, let number saying aye. Aye. Opposed, thank you. That has been approved. At this time, we're going to go into employee recognition. Ms. Denny, Mr. Sloan, Chief Sloan. I think you're going to be involved in this one. Whatever.
Okay, folks, this is exciting and fun for me because we have some really wonderful long-term employees, and it is my honor to honor them. And these are 2 really big ones tonight. First, we have Mr. Jim Harvey. You'll come up. for 10 years of service as our county marshal. I bet you've seen a lot in those 10 years.
A little bit.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
If you'll And then we have a really large one, 20 years, for Christy Fisher with 911.
You want to try to get them all in one shot?
We could.
Get them all over.
Get all of them.
That's called a Charlie.
I can, you can get in front of my camera too. Don't matter.
No way. Thank you.
so much.
Thanks, Jim.
Thanks, Jim. Thank you.
Hey, Rob. Oh, thanks, Steve. Now, Mr. Sloan? No.
Mr. Wayne, William Shane Callahan was sworn in as our local fire marshal in and for the county. This was on February the 4th of 19. Basically, what this allows him to do, it reviews plans and specifications, conduct fire safety inspections, conduct fire scene investigation, prepare and submit reports to the state. Along with that, Shane was also, he is our county life safety coordinator for the schools program, and does an excellent job. I could continue to go and go on, but basically we have the commissioners have got him a plaque here that we would like to give Shane. Come on up here, brother. I've got on your anniversary. Come on up here. You give me this official badge there. You can put it there, but he's gonna put it right down here.
I'll be right there.
Oh, wow.
I mean, it's killing me bad.
I'll get on this.
Yeah, just to get in the politics.
Where are you going? See, right side's smaller.
Thank you.
All right, go again.
All right.
All right, with that done, under number 7, we got consent agenda. We did quite a few proclamations, and for time's sake, and we've already read these before, so I'm not going to read them again, but A, Child Abuse Awareness Proclamation, signed this month. Also, Keep Pickens Beautiful Proclamation, signed this month. C, Health Fair Proclamation, was signed this month. Crime Victims Proclamation was signed this month. And also the National Boys and Girls Club Week Proclamation was signed this month. So those are under the consent agenda. That brings us down to old business, Jones Mountain Road update. And I'm gonna turn it over real quick to Mr. Dwayne Comer, the representative of EXP. Can you give us all an update on how it's proceeding up there, please?
Yes, sir. Well, today, you know, they was getting close on the water line. I don't know if they finished this afternoon. But
They
was
had
getting
contacted
close.
me earlier, and I think they said the water line would be done by this evening late.
Okay, and they cut it, got it all cut. They've already taken in the stream buffer variance. We had the stream buffer that was allowed, you know, by EPD for us. They've gone in there, they've cleared all the brush. They cleaned up those slopes. They have started entrenching the erosion control, the fencing along the barrier at the bottom of the slope. Also, there's a few other utilities up there that we discussed, and I think they're getting in touch with those and working with those folks also to get those taken care of. There's a couple of companies out there on that. The work on the soil nail will start Monday morning. They'll have everything else. They'll have all their erosion in, everything will be ready to go. And Eugene spoke with Steve Poole today, and he's still shooting for your May 1st day, you know, to be able to open up one side up, get it shored up, get it up.
What he told me last night is they're starting Monday to go ahead and put those soil anchors, hold that one lane into the mountain.
That's right.
And get all that done. We're a little ahead of schedule, so I think the issue he had was the red lights might not be here exactly. If we happen to get everything done, he's trying to figure out a way where we can open that lane a little quicker.
Mm-hmm. And I think he did talk about maybe he might get somebody to go pick them up, you know.
Yeah.
He's waiting on them to get shipped, but he might just have to go pick them up.
Where are they at, man?
I'm not sure exactly where they have to go get them at, but they've got them ordered and they're on their way, but, you know, they want to expedite that to do that. And he just wants to be able to get that out there, that way you don't have to have a person out there continually, seeing, you know, letting traffic through. So, as far as, everything, I had two of our guys out there today just inspected what they had put out, and it was, moving, you know, very quickly, getting that done.
And we moved the water line over to where they can put the guardrails in because we're losing shoulder with this new type of system that we're putting in. So we had to move the water line over to get that in. And then what I did, what I give permission to is go ahead and get the water line in, get the dirt packed, and then we're gonna gravel all that in there to where the public can come down and pull over and come down that side and be able to drive over that water
And
line.
plus, that way you eliminate that conflict between the water line and the contractor.
Right.
It's not even an issue anymore, so.
Yeah, they should be completed. Is there gonna be an issue, because they asked me about the old water line that's still up there. It's disconnected, but as far as I'm concerned, just go ahead and drive the pylons for the guardrail right through
Yeah,
that old water
probably
line.
since they've cut it and, you know, they've already cut that
Mhm.
trench where they, you know, brought it across
Correct.
on both sides, it shouldn't be an issue, I don't think.
Okay.
Do you think that'll be an issue?
No, I don't think, I mean, we were just concerned about the combination of a high-pressure water main and the guardrail post being installed in close proximity.
Yeah, that's why we went ahead and moved it, 'cause I want to get it moved out of y'all, out of their way so we can proceed on.
But everything's going as should be.
All right?
You got any other questions?
Y'all got questions for Mr. Coleman? Dwayne?
They're good. Thank you.
Thank you for being here. Thank you very
You're
much.
welcome.
All right, that brings us down to new business. Summary handbook updates. Alton, I think you've got, where'd you go? There he is. I think you've got the summary handbook update for 2019. I have reviewed them a few times, and this is the page. We're adding this to the handbook for Pickens County. Gotta follow along. Y'all have any further questions about it? You see anything you need to add or take away? All right, I need a move in a second to approve. So moved.
Second.
Move in a second, any further discussion? All that in favor, let know by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, thank you. all those things. Anything you need to add, we're already voted on, anything you need to add, or looks pretty good. Thank you very much. All right, that brings us down to Ms. Harvey on the 2019 TAN bids.
Okay. If you'll just pass this down, this is the information on the bid request for the TAN. It's gonna remain at $5.5 million for this year. The notices of request were sent out on March 14th to the different banks, actually to the 5 banks that are listed there. And the deadline was Friday, March 29th, and we did receive two bids, one from Community Bank of Pickens County, and they submitted an interest rate of 2.99 with a drawdown instrument. And we also got a bid from United Community Bank. Their interest rate is 3.13%.
Any other questions from Ms. Fay?
I was just curious, what's the dollar amount that we borrowed last year?
It's the same.
So,
But this is a drawdown instrument, which means, we don't have to take it off. Just keep it.
Right, and it is a short-term, it's short-term borrowing, it has to be repaid by the end of the year.
That's all one, United Community Bank and Community Bank Pickens County wants to bid. Nobody else wanted to bid on it.
BB&T Governmental, they submitted a bid last year on the TAN, and we have some of our capital leases with them, but they only do capital improvement projects now. They did send me a note saying they were not interested in bidding.
Okay. And you didn't hear anything from Regis or Renaissance?
I did not.
Okay. All right, what's y'all's pleasure?
well, it's close, but I would say we go with the low rate.
All right. So I have a move to go with Community Bank of Pickens County.
Yes.
All right, everybody give a second? Have a move and a second, any further discussion? None being all in favor, let them saying aye.
Aye.
None opposed, thank you. There you go, Ms. Fay. Now that brings us down to item number 10 under the finance report. Ms. Fay, I'm turning it back over to you again.
Okay. The finance report that y'all have tonight is for the period that ended March 31st. That's 3 months of our fiscal year, and the expenditure budget should not exceed 25%. On the revenues for the total general fund revenues through the end of March was $3,195,742, and that's 12.14% of the amount budgeted. The expenditures for the general government functions, $821,146, and that's 22.94%. For the judicial expenditures, the total is $754,552, and that's 20.8%. For public safety, total expenditures are $3,239,366, and that's 23%. Okay, and then we go to the public works functions. Their expenditures were $808,988, and that's 26.47%. And as we discussed last time, that the road, their public works they are slightly over, but he had a large capital outlay expense that he purchased in January, so that will skew it. It's almost back to where it should be. For the health department, senior center, and the MATS program, expenditures are $42,635. That's 13.63%. For culture and recreation, $182,311, and that's 18.03%. For housing and development, $143,534, and that is 21.81%. So the total expenditures for the first quarter of the year are $5,992,534, and that's 22.76%. So that's a little over 2% under budget. For the enterprise funds, the water department expenditures so far are $380,584, and that's 15.76%. For the airport, expenditures are $108,134, and that's 23.79%. The line item budget reports went out to everyone, to the department heads and elected officials on April 15th, and I have copies of all those if you all need to see them. Any questions?
All right, now, any questions to that? You want to talk about your request for amendment?
Yes, I did a request for amendment of the 2019 budget to recognize the revenues that we're getting from DOT for the Jones Mountain project, and that is emergency LMIG funds in the amount of $500,000, and the other revenue amount is a grant from GTIB, and that's a grant award in the amount of $1,300,000. And then on the expenditure side, we would just increase the road department expenditures.
The
And that would
1.8
just be
million.
one project line, yes.
You need to move in a second for that?
Yes, please.
That moving to second, any further discussion? None being, all that in favor, vote by saying aye.
Aye.
None opposed, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ms. Fay. All right, that brings us down to item number 11. Under action items, we need an approval for the board minutes of March 21st, 2019. Y'all should have had a copy of those. I read through them, didn't see any additions or deletions or any misspellings. That was in those. What's y'all's favor on that? Okay, have a move to approve.
Second.
Moving to second, any further discussion? None being, all in favor, vote by saying aye. Approved, thank you. It's been approved. That brings us down to item B under rezone request. Rodney, we don't have any rezones, do we?
Not for this month, no, sir.
Okay. And then, of course, we got item number C on the EXP contract. That's the company that Mr. Dwayne Comer works for. We have a contract with them on hourly rates as we go forward. Do you have any issues with that contract? Pardon? I'm sorry. Okay. I need a move in a second if y'all approve the EXP contract. Dwayne, you want to speak towards that contract? It's pretty well an hour rate, but you've got.
Yes, and the inspector, it's got the inspector rates in there. It's only like enough to make sure we see that we facilitate everything needed that y'all want to turn in, you know, and as far as paying the contractor, and we talked about that at the pre-con meeting the other day, so, yeah, we'll have people out there when needed, and not a lot of, I think we put about 30 hours a week on the main inspector, and then if anything happens, you know, and had to get EPD, or we got hours set up for Eugene and myself to get out there and look at it.
If you remember, EXP is the company we dealt with the four-way stops and a few items around the county over the last six months. With this incident that we had up on Jones Mountain, they have been very instrumental in helping us get through this process, getting proof of DOT, getting the monies that we were able to achieve from the state. All that being said, I felt like it was necessary, as the amount of this project is, to get a contract with EXP where we have everything listed and have it in the book as such. So I need to move it.
I'm sorry, it is required by the grant.
It is required by the grant that we have an engineering company oversee. So that being said, I need to move in a second to approve. Any further discussion? None being, all in favor, know by saying aye. Aye. None opposed, thank you. All right, that brings us down to item number 12, guessing comments. Anybody got any? Yes, Mitch?
I've got some questions. You know, we started the meeting with employee recognition, and I came to the March meeting in the work section, and we talked about similar thing, employee recognition for the older employees, you know, that we worked on with a new gift card system.
Sure.
I'll set up a meeting, got the figures, and I'm just wondering, I mean, the figures I saw was like 110 difference, you know, from regular employees, from public safety was like 64, to all employees, it was included like 110. So I didn't know where it stood to get on.
Gift card will be here. They're coming to our work session. I think. May 2nd. Since we
So
had
they're coming May 2nd, so then by next month, because, I mean, you know, I'm talking about
I
Jerry
understand.
Walker, they've been saying for a year. And in my.
And
little
as you well know, it takes a year or better to get these details worked out.
Yeah,
And
but-
to get the financing on that, but yeah, we understand.
So, but I'm saying in that year, the savings to the county from new employee to his salary would have been 110. And that's just one employee. So by next meeting, it'll be brought up.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, the, under the contract that we're trying to get worked out and get changed, with gift court coming in, once we approve that, it's still gotta go to the feds, doesn't it, to get approved?
It'll be a plan change.
Yeah, it'll be a completely plan change. So that's what we're trying to do, be sure we have all our ducks in the row when they're coming in May 2nd. Because once we get it set up there, then it's still gotta go to the federal government.
So it may realistically be 8 months, 6 months?
I hope not.
I don't think it should take that long.
I wouldn't think so.
It may take 2 or 3 months, but it shouldn't take much more than that, I don't think.
Yeah,
I'm just trying
Clear-
to figure
clear
out
as
how
mud.
to
Clear
get
as
on
mud.
the board.
Yeah, pardon?
I'm just trying to figure out how to get on the sheet.
That's it. Any other comments, questions? Man, well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna call this meeting to an end, and I wanna wish each and every one a great Easter holiday. Thank y'all for coming.